Today we're getting into the good stuff. How people around the world are working to make the places we live more sustainable. That means creating communities that meet our needs today without messing up things for future generations. Sound like a tall order? Maybe, but there are lots of ways to do it, and some places are leading the charge. Let's get into it. First off, let's talk about reducing water use. Water is one of our most precious resources, and wasting it just isn't an option if we want to live sustainably. Some communities have figured out smart ways to cut down on water use. Take Cape Town, South Africa, for example. A few years ago, they were on the brink of running out of water. Literally. The city launched a massive campaign to get people to use less water, from taking shorter showers to installing water-saving devices in their homes. They even encouraged the use of grey water, water from sinks, showers, and washing machines for watering plants. The result? They managed to avoid day zero, when the city's taps would have run dry. It's a powerful example of how a community can come together to conserve water. Next up is increasing recycling and composting. Ever heard of San Francisco? This city is a superstar when it comes to waste management. They've got one of the highest recycling rates in the world, thanks to strict laws and a super efficient system that makes it easy for residents to recycle and compost. The city aims to become zero waste, meaning nothing ends up in landfills or incinerators. How do they do it? By encouraging people to separate their waste, providing composting services, and even banning certain types of plastic packaging. It's a model for how other cities can turn trash into treasure, or at least into something useful. Another big step towards sustainability is limiting the construction of housing on land that could be used for agriculture. This one's tricky because we need space to live, but we also need space to grow food. In Portland, Oregon, they've come up with a solution: the urban growth boundary. This is a line drawn around the city that limits how far it can expand. Inside the boundary, development is encouraged, but outside, farmland and natural areas are protected. This keeps urban sprawl in check and makes sure there's enough land left for farming and green spaces. And then there's public transit. Getting more people to use buses, trains, and bikes instead of cars is a big win for sustainability. It cuts down on pollution, reduces traffic, and saves energy. Take Copenhagen, Denmark. This city is a cyclist's dream. They've built an entire network of bike lanes, making it easy and safe to get around by bike. As a result, more than half of the people in Copenhagen commute by bike every day, cutting down on car emissions and making the city a cleaner, greener place to live. Planting and maintaining trees is another simple but powerful practice. Trees clean the air, provide shade, and even help reduce energy use by cooling down buildings. Singapore is a fantastic example of a city that's gone all in on green spaces. Known as the city in a garden, Singapore has integrated trees and greenery into almost every part of the city. From rooftop gardens to vertical forests on skyscrapers, they've turned their urban jungle into a literal jungle. This isn't just good for the environment, it also makes the city a more beautiful and enjoyable place to live. Let's not forget about sustainable housing supplies. Building homes with materials that are renewable, recycled, or locally sourced can make a big difference. One place leading the way is Freiburg, Germany. This city is often called Germany's greenest city, and it's easy to see why. They've built entire neighborhoods using sustainable materials, with homes that are energy efficient and even produce more energy than they use. Solar panels, green roofs, and passive house designs are just some of the features that make Freiburg a model of sustainable living. So, what can we learn from all these examples? Sustainable practices aren't just ideas on paper, they're happening right now, in cities and communities around the world. Whether it's saving water, recycling, protecting farmland, using public transit, planting trees, or building with sustainable materials, there are lots of ways to make where we live better for the planet. The best part, you don't have to live in a famous green city to make a difference. Everyone can take steps to make their own community more sustainable. It starts with small changes, using less water, recycling more, planting a tree, but together, these small actions add up to big results. That's it for today's geography lesson. Remember, the choices we make today shape the world we'll live in tomorrow, so let's make them count.